This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY.
WDAY.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2, ready to rock and roll here on this Wednesday morning. Shortened show today. We got Bison Media Zone coming up in a half hour. Summit League basketball schedule restarts tonight. We got 3 women's games coming up. The Bison women are on the road at St. Thomas. We'll feature Jory Collins on the show tomorrow to chat about that and get ready for NDSU's 3-game homestand. They got South Dakota beginning on Saturday. The North Dakota State men are on the road. They leave later today to begin a 2-game road trip where they'll head to Denver and Oral Roberts. And Denver means a trip, final time, actually, to Denver as members of the Summit League, which we'll get to in a second. It also means a reunion of sorts with guys that we know pretty well from Moorhead, Minnesota. It's great to have Tim Bergstraser back with us, head coach of the Denver Pioneer men's basketball team. We used to do this on Tuesdays. He was good enough. He didn't blow me off. He's a big-timer now in Division I and joins us here. It's great to see you, bud. How you been?
I've been fantastic. Like last time, man, when I got Dom Izzo on the phone in all caps, and it's locked into the phone. I saw that pop up. I put a smile on my face. I couldn't respond quicker. So, I mean, life's been good. And I mean, we're just in the thick of the season right now where it's very competitive, a lot of sleepless nights, but it's a fun part of what we do still.
Well, I appreciate that, and thanks for doing this. So I'll dive right in. Just has Summit League basketball been what you thought it would be?
Yeah, and I don't want to say like I came into the Summit having all the answers, because I definitely did not. But there's just no breaks, period. Like whether you win or lose, no matter who you play, whether it goes in your favor or not, there's another really, really good team there sitting and waiting for you. So it's all really the same. Like if you're not ready to play competitive, physical, tough basketball, you're going to get eaten up. And even if you play really well, you could still lose. So it is what I expected of just high level basketball where you need to be ready to play every single night.
You got a big win last week at home over Oral Roberts, and I'll get to this in a bit, you guys are scoring like crazy. Just how has the team developed and I guess matured as the year has gone along? Because you know a bunch of these guys, but it's obviously a different environment where you're coaching them at now.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a process, and we knew it would be ever since I got the job. And, when you have more time in the summer, that helps. But when you're bringing in essentially 10, 11 new faces and putting them all together, it takes time. It ain't going to be figured out in a month. And, you have to go through some trial and error. And I think that's just been a prime example of what we've been trying to go through this year and switch some rotations, switch some starting lineups. We're on a phase right now. Like, I think it's no secret. We just need to trust our bench a little bit more and trust guys. Like I've traditionally played, 6 to 7 guys, a lot of minutes, but I think for our group, like we need to trust other guys to give us some production. And I think that we showed that in the Oral Roberts game. I thought that was pretty good. But if I'm looking at where we were first day of summer workouts to where we are now, there's a lot of ups and downs. Have to be patient. I've had to be a lot more patient. I've had the luxury of when I was at MSUM, we'd bring in maybe 1 or 2 transfers a year.
Yeah.
So we had our players, like essentially they're running the program. And I think that's where we had a lot of success. Whether I brought 4 guys with me for MSUM or not, like it's a process, and I just have to keep in mind on that and being patient. I have to be patient with that as well with them.
Now that you've seen it, and you're the best one I could ask about this, how the difference. We talked about it last year, how good the NSIC is to compete with the Summit. Now that you've brought D2 guys to the D1 level, is that line even blurrier than what we talked about last year?
Yeah, we knew it coming in that it was just going to be a physical presence. Like the guys are stronger, they're more physical, they're faster. I like that for most games, like they let us play. So, we could talk about Carson being the prime example of coming to this level. I told him, you're going to have an adjustment phase. And you could see it, like he was still producing, especially on the offensive end. But you could tell it was taking a lot on him. He was a little more tired quicker because guys were physically beating him up. But now I don't want to say he's used to it, but he's definitely he's got to get a little more accustomed to it. So I think that's been the biggest thing is just guys are huge in this level. Like and I just think there's more depth.
Yeah.
Like in the NSIC, and this is not knocking anybody, like there's all good role players, but in the NSIC, there's a couple teams there's like you had to really, really focus on a guy coming out the bench that could go for 20 maybe every once in a while. But it's like NDSU being the prime example who we got tomorrow. Like their depth is incredible. Like they got a bunch of guys that make winning plays. They're really big and they could all score. So I think that's been a really big piece too, is just the depth and more guys to worry about.
I know you got a lot of people's attention, certainly around your area with a win at Colorado State. How big was that early on for you and your program to get that?
Yeah, that was a fun experience, and I told our guys just to embrace that as much as possible. When you're going into those bye games, you never know what to expect. And for me, I think anybody knows me as a competitor. I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to it. Like whether I get my butt kicked or not, I'm thinking I'm going to go find a way to win, and make sure that our team is prepared to go compete, not play timid or anything like that. And I think our guys did a great job of that. Just for like our program and what we're trying to build, I think that was a great moment. Because I don't think this program's done something like that in a while. But I wanted to make sure to our guys, like, we shouldn't be surprised if we do something like that, if we really think what we're trying to become.
Yeah.
And we hope that's not going to be the only big thing we're celebrating this year. Like, that was a non-conference game like months ago. Like, now we're in league. Like, we need to make sure we're still playing to that level. It shouldn't matter who we're playing against. But as an overall program, university, city standpoint, man, it was outstanding.
And then you beat Northern Colorado, so you almost have the triumvirate here of bragging rights in the state right now.
Yeah, I ain't gonna say it's bragging rights by any means. We did our job, and we played really well those games. And when you play in those Colorado in-state opponents, like, your guys are gonna be ready. But like I said, we should play like that all the time then. But we've proven that we have a lot of good scorers. And in the Northern Colorado game especially, like, we were down and we handled the game with poise, and we came out of a timeout down 9 or 10 points if I remember right, and we went on like a 9-0 run right back at him. And Zane Nelson, he went out for 32 points. So that's just basketball sometimes, and we've all been a part of both sides of it, whether you're winning or losing.
We know all about the Dragons. I want to ask them in a second. Tell me about Zane Nelson, finding a guy like him to come in, and how much of an impact he's had on your team.
Yeah, he's been awesome, and he had a growth phase, and just understand how we do things. And I think we've had a good track record of bringing in transfers and getting them to play the way we want. I mean, we're pretty upfront with our roles, and then in the end, it's just up to the young man to buy into it and trust us. So I mean, it was a little choppy right away. Not like saying he was like a bad kid or nothing, but it was just some ups and downs for him trying to get comfortable how we do things. For us having a prior relationship with him, I recruited him very hard. I was trying to get him to MSUM when he left Arkansas Monticello. Didn't work out. He went to Missouri Western, and then obviously when he put his name in the portal again, he was like, "Well, I've been waiting for you to call this whole time, coach." Like, all right, well, let's get this done then. So, but he's a bigger scoring guard, and I mean, he's done a much better job of being like a really good scorer / facilitator for us. So, him playing to that level, I think, relieves a lot of pressure off Carson as well. So that's been very helpful.
So Carson is the reigning Summit League Player of the Week, which I think for those of us that saw him play, there's maybe no surprise in that. How has this transition gone for him? How as much this time last year, you and I are talking about him getting minutes for the first time. Now here we are as a Division I player. Can you describe that of where the last 12 months have been for him?
Well, it's just it's always a testament to who he is as a human being and the work that he puts in, and just the level of confidence that he has. I mean, he's very grounded in his faith. I know he keeps God in the center, which is always awesome. I like to do the same thing, but it's a great story. I mean, if you really look at last year how it folded to where we are now, we're very fortunate that he wanted to come here to Denver as well. But I'm always going to say it. I said it last year as well. I'm not surprised with what he's doing, especially on the offensive end. He's a very humble young man, and he wants to be coached. He's always trying to find ways to improve his game, tighten up his game. He knows the biggest thing, that which he's done an incredible job since day one to where we are now, is just the defensive end. I mean, he would admit it. He was getting exposed early on, but he's a fighter and he has a lot of pride. And whether he's stopping you or not, he's done a lot better job at least having a lot more fight and keeping guys in front and playing more physical and getting used to the physicality. So, we all know, anybody that plays him knows, like, he could get a lot of points pretty quickly, and he's going to be a main focus for a lot of people on a scout. So again, it's kind of the same balance, like I said, with Zane. I always told Jacob Beninga the same thing too, is like, how can we put two things together of you being a really, really good scorer, but still realizing when do you need to facilitate for our team?
So now it's North Dakota State. All games are, I know, important. This one carry a little different weight. The Bison are humming the way they are. They're in first place. Describe the anticipation at your place for this one tomorrow night.
I don't want to say it's like anything special. Like, obviously, I've been around the Bison program for nearly a decade, so I think I know a decent amount how they operate, and that's why I got a lot of respect for them. They keep it pretty simple. They're a very well-disciplined team. They play extremely hard and physical. They don't really beat themselves, man. And we're going to have to play good basketball. And that's how it should be anytime you play anybody in this league. But if we don't play rock solid, tough physical basketball against this team, it could get pretty ugly. But I am anticipating that, it's going to be a pretty good crowd here. Like I said before, I like the buzz that we have going around the city right now, and especially their program. I think we're putting a product on the floor that people like to watch, especially in the offensive end, not so much the defensive side, unfortunately. We're going to keep chipping away at that. But I'm expecting I want it to be a competitive game. I mean, I think it's going to be a challenge for both of us. They do a lot of really good things. I think when we're all locked in and we have everybody bought into what we're really trying to do, I think we could be a pretty dang competitive basketball team. I think we've proven that, but now we just got to do it consistently. So for any fan, I mean, I would really expect that's a game you're going to want to go watch. I think it's going to be one that a lot of people, even if they're not in Denver, are going to be keeping an eye on.
What stands out to you for this year's Bison team? They're different than the team that you played last year in that exhibition game.
Yeah, they're very different. And, last year they were just chucking threes and obviously at a high rate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't blame them, but I give a lot of credit to, I know that staff pretty well. And for them to lose the pieces that they did and to reload, and, obviously they had some very good, just nucleus guys return, but for them to reload with what they did and put those pieces together and for them to be doing what they're doing right now, that's pretty impressive. And I think the biggest thing for them is like, yeah, they're different, but I think they could beat you in just a multiple different ways. Like, they still shoot the three pretty well. Obviously, don't shoot it as much as they did last year, but there's certain games like they really light it up from the arc. And if you take those away, then they could beat the crap out of you in the paint and try to dominate you on the glass. So you can tell it's just a Richmond style basketball team. Like, they play really hard and physical. They got a lot of fight to them. So I'm sure he enjoys coaching them. And obviously I got to respect that because that's the kind of teams I want too. I want guys that just play with a lot of fight to them.
Now you're in it now, so I'm really interested. This week is huge in your city. The Broncos are playing to go to the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. The Avalanche are rolling. The Nuggets are the Nuggets, who unfortunately Jokic isn't playing. How hard is it to say, hey, we've got a good product here to come cover us? You were covered all the time. I like to say we did a pretty good job of covering the Dragons. How is it there now that you're in it to say, we want some attention, we've got a pretty good product here, fighting with what I just said that's out there for the sports time right now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you win, it brings attention. So we got to do that.
Yep.
I mean, ain't no secret formula, but there's a lot of really, really good, high quality media support out here that I think they're really doing a good job of pumping it out there. But the one thing that I've really learned since I've been here, even before I came here, but they just love sports in Denver. They got a lot of pride for their sports. And I know they've wanted to have some success in the basketball program as well. So we take a lot of pride in that. But with that being said, I think that's given us some good juice for people to come to Hamilton. And I'm going to keep putting it out there that we have something worth coming to and want to be a part of a fun atmosphere, supporting a team that's going to have a lot of pride in playing for Denver. But we want to keep building this program to what we really believe is going to be here moving forward. And that's we could believe is going to be real rewarding. But it's like, if we could get some like crazy level of success, like it's going to be pretty fun to be around. So we're just going to keep sticking our heads down and working extremely hard, having a lot of pride for where we're at. And I think it's going to continue to bring in people that want to watch us and support us.
So the last time I saw you in person, we were in Sioux Falls, mid-October. I'm going to be mad at you here if you were sitting on the news that you guys were leaving to go to the West Coast Conference. Can you give us, because that came out the end of October. So what did you know? And tell me about this move, because this is different, man. You're going to be playing different teams, recruiting different areas, I have to imagine.
Mm-hmm. I promise you wholeheartedly, I had no idea. And everybody out there thinks I do. The funny story around here is because they sent us a text super early that morning saying, all right, we got a staff meeting. And it was on Halloween. So I'm driving in, not thinking I'm thinking it's a Halloween party at 9 a.m., And then we show up all head coach, like, yeah, we're going to WCC. It was like, oh, it got leaked before the meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that world, that day turned the world upside down a little bit because, I mean, it's a massive leap going to the WCC. And we're basically playing like NBA type players now. I'm not saying there's not any guys in the Summit that can't have an opportunity.
Yep.
I mean, like anybody that knows basketball at this level, like it's high level ball. So it's exciting. There's going to be a transition phase to it. I can't wait. I think it's a perfect fit for Denver. And from what I've learned, especially when I talk to people that have been around this program for just years and decades, this is something they've been fighting for like 30 years.
Wow.
trying to get into WCC. So I think people are very happy about that aspect. And like I said, the transition phase is going to be big. There is a reality to it when you're going to, thank God Gonzaga's leaving, but it's like you still got to worry about like a lot of the other teams that are fighting near the top. But it is going to be different. We're not going to be playing in the Dakotas anymore. We're going to be playing out in Malibu and San Diego. But it's I'm very excited for it. I think just for the university, for the exposure of our program. Majority of our alumni are from the West Coast as well, from what I've learned too. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't. It's like the balance right now for me. I'm never going to lose focus of our team right now. I can't.
Yeah.
Like that's the most important thing for me. But like I still do need to get prepared as much as possible. Us as a staff do need to look forward a little bit and try to get prepared for that because it's a big leap.
I mean, we're talking Santa Clara, Portland, St. Mary's, Pepperdine. I mean, for those who follow basketball yourself, you know how good those teams are. And I'm interested as well. How much does that have to change your recruiting footprint now that you got to look west for guys? Is that just come with the territory of where you're playing now?
Yeah, I think it'll help us get West Coast guys.
Yeah.
Which is still kind of like people say we're a West Coast school. I had to learn that when I really got the job. I don't think we are, but it's like I think we are more West Coast. I don't think we're a West Coast school, but recruiting wise, yeah, 100%. I think it does allow us to dip into a little more of that West Coast. Guys knowing that even if they are like out in California, if they come to Denver, they know they could be going back to play near home. But ultimately for us recruiting, we're going to put that net out as big as we can. And we're just going to try to know exactly everybody that's out there and do they fit how we do things as a program. But yeah, our recruiting, that's why I said like that same day when we found out the news, like our recruiting mindset flipped so quickly. Yeah. We had like a 2 or 3 hour staff meeting. Like we got to get to work as much as we could, at least get our minds wrapped around like, all right, what's the vision of what we need to do now here in this next step while still focusing primarily on our current team.
Last thing, Bud, I really appreciate you doing this morning. Describe how much support you still feel from back here, text messages from people watching your team and the anticipation you're going to be in Fargo in a couple weeks when this comes back around of what the support is still being in Fargo and Moorhead.
It's been outstanding, and I pray on it every day, man. Like I got such an incredible support system. I got a really good circle of people around me that love what we're doing. So it's nothing I'm ever going to overlook or neglect. But yeah, I've been keeping good eye on the Dragons. Like I'm still one of their biggest fans. I've watched basically every single game. I'm not going to step into Kemp's world. I'm letting him do his thing. Kemp's doing an amazing job, especially after we really cleared the roster out with him. But even just like I think we got a taste of it too when we went to St. Thomas. I mean, if you would have saw the section of fans that we had at the St. Thomas game,
awesome.
Like that was like a tournament game, 100%. It was a very good atmosphere to be there. I mean, we had I don't know 200 to 400 fans there if I had to guess. Nice. So that it's very heartwarming when you got a lot of people there that love our program, love our guys that we have. Everybody always loves to see family. So it'll be again. I'm very focused on trying to do what I can to beat the Bison tomorrow here in Hamilton. But I do know looking forward, like coming back to Fargo, like that's going to be a fun moment, seeing a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time.
All right, travel to Vermilion and Brookings, is that better than travel to Winona and give me another one, St. Paul?
Fayette, Iowa?
Yeah, Fayette, Upper Iowa. Yeah, that's another one.
I love Brooks and I love Eisner for both those programs. Now it's a new coach at Upper Iowa. But that was my least favorite trip. That was the worst. I don't think anything's ever going to top that. So, again, we fly, so that's very new for me.
Yeah, right?
I mean, the only ones we're really driving to is when we play Colorado schools. So that's been very new to me just to fly for everyone. But hopping on a bus, I kind of miss those bus trips every once in a while.
Well, you better get used to it for your next leap for next year, man. You're going to be traveling a little bit airplanes there. It's great to see you, Bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Good luck tomorrow night. We'll see you in a couple weeks when you're back here, okay?
Sounds good, man. Good to see you.
There he goes, Tim Bergstraser, head coach of the Denver men's basketball team. Pioneers have the Bison coming up tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time start. Denver can score it. They're averaging 85 a game. To the part where he's talking about Denver defensively, not so great. They're giving up 87 a game. And we saw what that Bison team can do scoring the basketball. That will be a fun one to follow tomorrow. All right, we'll take our final break. We come back. We'll wrap the show up. Remember, we got Bison Media Zone with the Hall of Famer. I have to say that. It's in the script. Randy Hedberg going to join us in about 10 minutes. Back to wrap. Look at that. The sun out in Grand Forks. It's like two different worlds weather-wise. Back to wrap things up after this.